Shout out to a very specific subscriber. Dad, thank you for watching and enjoy the show. August 22nd, 2022 is something very specific for me. 20 years ago on this day, I decided to enlist in the Pennsylvania Air Force National Guard. I feel that it might be a good idea to have some objective ideas if someone is interested in joining the military, maybe helps them pinpoint where they want to go and if it's right for them. Now, what I do notice is Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines have their own specific tasks and basically an overall objective for each. Now, I'm going to try to be as objective as possible because I feel that that's the best way for someone to make an honest opinion of where they want to choose their pathway to go. Now, if someone chooses the Army and the Marines, there's quite a similarity between the two. The Navy and the Air Force also has a similarity. However, the Army and the Air Force have similarities just like the Navy and the Marines have similarities. And maybe I'm wrong with my opinions, but I will try to be as clear and concise with everything that I say. If you decide that you like to be out and about and you like to do things, just kind of follow whatever it is that someone's giving to you, not just blindly, but basically be given a direction and then follow that direction and just wait. A lot of hurrying up and waiting. That's probably every branch, honestly. But if you like to dig a hole so that that's the hole you sleep in, then maybe the Navy and the Army is right for you. Marines. Department of the Navy, the Marines. If you like to be away from home for a very, very, very long time, and you're okay with getting financially compensated for it because you're probably not able to spend virtually any money, maybe the Navy is right for you. If you like to have amenities like probably the best food that you're going to eat with basic commodities that are important to you, like air conditioning and heating, and maybe staying out of the rain, maybe the Air Force is right for you. And there are other things, but basically decide where you want to fall. If you like having more of technology and more the ability to use said technologies, you probably want to go Air Force or Navy. If you like to be out in the wilderness and let nature guide you and you guide yourself through nature, then maybe the Army and Marines is right for you. Again, the Air Force and the Army have some similarities. A lot of it comes down to customs and courtesies as well as other things. Just like the Navy and the Marines have similarities with their customs and courtesies. It's kind of neat to see the heritage between everything, much like the history behind all of it. Now, it doesn't mean that these are the specific individual choices that are right for you. Maybe you want to go warrant officer. Well, the Air Force doesn't have warrant officers. And maybe you like other things like firing all the time, firing a weapon. What seems to be for no reason, but honestly, it's just drills to get you more comfortable with firing just because, so that when you need it, if you need it, it's then second nature to you. Then maybe the Army is right for you. Again, there are so many factors to consider, but just a little thing right off the bat that would kind of help guide you where you want to go. Here's the catch. If you chose any of these branches and you weren't sure if you wanted to go active duty or reserve or National Guard, maybe you should look at the simple things that divide them. Active duty is more of a full-time job, your quote-unquote 9 to 5, where you're given the absolute benefits of things like your health insurance with continual pay. It's basically like a salary where you will get paid whether you perform work that day or not. You will get paid. It'll be that specific amount, and it will not deviate under most factors. Active duty is exactly that. And the cool thing is, after 20 years, if you decide that you want to embrace all of the politics, because there is a political structure in virtually every single aspect of any job, if you're willing to deal with the politics of where you are, then you can spend 20 years, you retire, and immediately get your financial compensation, immediately get health care, and all the other benefits that you can get from any military retirement. If you are National Guard and Reserve, you don't get that after 20 years. You gotta wait. And the age is probably going to be age 60. Under some circumstances, it will be sooner. Real quick, if you're finding this helpful, then please click the like button. If you want to see more like this, then please click the subscribe button. This way I know that it's really honestly helpful and can benefit anyone. So please let me know. And if you want notifications, click the bell notification. This way it'll let you know when I'm putting out new videos. Thank you. Have a great day. One circumstance is if you happen to get injured under certain clauses, you then get paid a percentage for the rest of your life. It probably came with a cost. So maybe that's not the avenue you want to go through. Now, National Guard and Reserve will get paid at age 60 or sooner, and that depends on certain jobs that you're given, and there's a little bit more to it. But basically, it's if you're under a federal type order, essentially, for more than 90 days, then you'll get a reduction of age when you finally reach that retirement age. Again, there's a lot to it, and that's something you need to look into. Make sure that you know exactly what that means when you reach that said retirement age. Guard and Reserve are similar but also different. Active duty is the full-time first defense, the first choice of someone who goes to do a job. Reserve is the backup for federal for active duty. And National Guard is kind of the backup for the backup, but National Guard belongs to the state, Reserve belongs to federal, and when National Guard is called out, it is probably a state emergency that the governor decides that they are to be on call. It doesn't mean that is the only circumstance. It means it is primarily the reason for their purpose. It doesn't mean that's the only time you're getting called. It doesn't mean that's the only time you'll go, because you may be a guardsman or a reservist, and you then go on a deployment or a temporary duty assignment, TDY. There's some leniency with things with Guard and Reserve. However, active duty, you're on call 24/7. You're going, you're getting paid for it, you're going, because that's just the way it's got to be. Guard and Reserve, they try to pick the volunteers if there's an option. There might not be an option. You might be the only one who's trained to do that job, and you are now that person. But there's a lot to it. My thought is, if you're going to make a decision to figure out where you want to go, look at all of the jobs with each of them, find out what job might be best for you, figure out what the tasking is for each force, and when you decide where you want to go, be it Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard and Space Force, which I cannot speak on because I know very little about. When you decide where you want to go, my opinion, after 20 years of being in the Air Force, National Guard, my opinion is go active duty first. Go active duty, see if it's right for you. You probably don't get the choice of job and you will almost guaranteed not get the choice of location of where you're going. However, if you can stay with that career for 20 years, you then immediately get paid, in theory, right after your retirement date. If you decide that it's not right for you at any point from active duty, you can switch to Guard and Reserve. It's called the Palace Chase. There's a lot to it, but it's honestly that simple when it comes down to it. If you decide that you want to be a guardsman or a reservist from the beginning, you can do that. You can choose your base, you can choose your job, and you get to decide where you want to go. And then if you move, you can decide where else you go with some limitations. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you think it's valuable to someone else, go ahead and share it. Share it with anyone you want. I want to make sure that someone's making the best decision for them. If you want to hear something in particular, please put it in the comments. If I was wrong about anything, please put it in the comments, because I want to make sure that everyone gets the best value that they can receive. Also, if you want to have more content that's similar to this, any life lessons, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if it interests you in getting notifications, please click the notification button so that way you know when I put out a new video. That being said, make the best of your life, get the most out of it, and make sure that you make the best decision for you. Get any of the information you need and run with it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.